Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's Alami, my name is Buyisile. You can call me Buyi if you like. How you spell that is Buyisile. It's a video, a sit down. Hey, I promise you I did pass English at school. Anyway, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing for those who have subscribed. I started this channel well over a year ago, I believe. Yes, and recently my videos started getting traction, if that is the correct word to use. And I thank each and every one of you viewers. Now, what I would like to ask is that you also subscribe. Don't just watch, but just subscribe as well. It helps to encourage me to keep doing this, and it helps me get other opportunities, as I create content. Now, I create content because I find it enjoyable. It's a hobby of mine. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy combining clips of videos and bringing them together, making something out of it, making a film out of it. It's actually quite fascinating. And also, the other reason why I started this channel was so that I could have a documentation of my life. I did want to have something that I could look back to in the future and say, oh wow, this is where I come from. And yeah, it's going great so far. So thank you for all of you who are watching, and thank you for subscribing as well. If you haven't, please do consider doing that, because I will be dropping content. Okay. I don't intend to stop, and I intend to keep going, and by the grace of God I'll go further and further and further up high. Anyway, today the video that I bring to you is mainly about my feelings. Let's talk about how I feel. Okay, so for those who do not know, or not yet aware, I used to live in China. I lived there for quite a number of years, and I then came back to Zimbabwe last year, 2024, and I have been here for half a year. Oh wow, like I'm working on the second half of the year since I came back. I came back in July, and we're in January. It's been 6 months, and God is guiding me, God is leading me, and as you can see, I'm alive. So if you ever thought that coming back to Zimbabwe will kill you, now you know better. But seriously guys, I remember some people would ask, like, what are you coming back to Zimbabwe to do? There is nothing to do in Zimbabwe. But let me tell you that there is a lot to do in Zimbabwe, and people are doing things. So if you're out there and people are telling you that nothing is happening in Zimbabwe, don't you dare believe them, because people are making things happen for their lives. Okay, so fine. Let's start with why I left Zimbabwe in the first place. So I left Zimbabwe to go and study. That was the main thing that made me leave Zimbabwe. I was going to school, and I remember leaving Zimbabwe to go and study abroad had been a dream of mine since I was in, I don't know, my primary, even early high school, I believe. Because initially, that is in high school, I had wanted to go to Australia for some unknown reason. I don't even know why I had wanted to go to Australia, but Australia didn't happen. China happened. The opportunity came. I took it, and I don't regret going to China. It was a great experience. So that is the reason why I left China. And so coming back to Zimbabwe was not a certain thing. It wasn't a certain move. Let me just clarify that. I didn't just wake up suddenly and I had to come back. I didn't just wake up suddenly and I was told that you cannot stay here anymore. I had the option of staying in China, but I had decided way before even graduating that I was going to leave right after I graduated. And these are the reasons why I decided to move back home. I remember someone did ask me that question in one of my videos, like, why did you go back to Zimbabwe? The reason why I came back to Zimbabwe is because I wanted to come and establish myself here. I wanted to build a life for myself here. I want to build a life for myself here, and I am building a life for myself here, okay? And so the plan is to establish myself and flourish in Zimbabwe. That's what I intend to do, and that's the major reason why I came, so that I could build a life here. And by building a life, I mean career wise, relationship wise, everything that pertains to life, basically. That's the reason why I came back to Zim. Second reason, I came back because I was tired of living by myself. Look, I don't know if people are aware, but there's nothing as depressing as not having people around you that you know are going to be there for you through thick and thin. Not to say that in my stay in China there weren't people who would come through for me if ever I needed help. Yes, there were, but at the end of the day, everyone had to go their way. You get what I mean? So sometimes I would find myself feeling quite lonely. And one thing about living by yourself is that if you're not too careful, you can end up drowning in your own thoughts. For some reason, you end up just being depressed. If I tell you that during the COVID-19 lockdown, I was low-key depressed, and I don't. It's just creeped up on me. The English bundles. It just creeped up on me, and I of course recovered. Glory to God. And yeah, I recovered, but at the end of the day, I mean, eventually I still felt like, no, I needed to be around my people, and by my people I mean my family. I went for years. During my entire time being away from Zimbabwe, I never came back, so it was years on years on years of not seeing my family. So I decided that I didn't want to live alone anymore. I didn't want to be by myself. I needed to have a strong support system if ever I did. Oh, there are these flies flying about. Anyway, I seriously need to get an insecticide because I cannot live like this. So, I decided I didn't want to live by myself anymore, and so I came back. Those are the two major reasons why I came back to Zimbabwe. Oh, and on top, I really didn't think that there was a future for me in China. That's the third reason. There wasn't any reason for me to stay. Had I stayed, I would have just stayed for what? I don't know, the convenience of life there. I don't know. Yeah, just the convenience of life in China, because yeah, life I would say really can be convenient. It's more convenient than life here in Zim. But I was up for the challenge and I came back. And now this is what I think about Zimbabwe, and this is how I feel about having been here for the past 6 months. Now let's get back to the very first month. Now the first month is like exciting. You're back, you're meeting your people that you have not seen for a while. You're discovering how life is like. So for me, it was exciting. That's the first thing, coming back home and being able to meet my family, my friends, and getting to spend some time with them, that was exciting. But then there came the part where I had to readjust to life now, because life really has changed. And sometimes maybe we don't realize that as the years pass by, things are changing. We are changing, the environment is changing, everything is changing. So basically, life in Zim is different to how I left it. Okay, this is where the major differences were. When I left Zimbabwe, or let me just talk about Bulawayo, the city where I live. When I left Bulawayo, we used to have electricity 24/7. Okay, and when I came back to an electricity fault that lasted for like, I think it was 2 days or 2 or 3 days, 2 days. And then there's very, very bad load shedding schedules. I can't even call them schedules because sometimes the electricity just, there's no notification, there's no set schedule as such. So it's like a blackout, and in the first months, I think first 2 months, it was a bit bearable because you could, there was kind of somewhat of a schedule. You know that Monday morning, around 6, the electricity gets turned off. It will be back around 2 p.m. and from then on you have your electricity back. That's the same for Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday you have the electricity in the morning, but evening you won't have it, and then it will be back by 9 p.m. sort of such thing. Thursday, Friday, Saturday you have your electricity. Sunday morning you have your electricity. But hey, how? Hey, did things not just turn around? Let me tell you. At some point, we would even go to bed, wake up the following morning, still no electricity. And let me tell you that the electricity issue, right? It really is an issue because we live in a digital world. You need your phone. And living in the city without electricity is utterly boring. And let me tell you, in those during that time, I was unemployed. And when you're unemployed, it means that you always at home mainly, or well, like, at least in my case. So my job was to just do the house chores. And once I'm done with the house chores, I need a bit of entertainment. But yo, Sana. So the electricity. As of now, I do think that it's a little bit better, but it's still a problem, So I really do think that if someone is considering moving to Zimbabwe, especially if you're someone who has their own home, you're your own person, you're an adult, you have children, you have a family or something like that, and you want to have your own space, it will be wiser to make sure that you prepare for the electricity issue. Number one, prepare yourself because you're gonna have to deal with it. And if you have the means, make sure that you get yourself solar energy. Solar power is the best, really. But for someone like me, I mean, I still live at home sometimes. I still live at home sometimes. So I didn't have that responsibility. I still don't have that responsibility to say that I need to get my own house, I need to get my own space, I need to get this and that for my children. So I'd say that the moving experience is this is a moving experience of a single person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that was it, the electricity. And then the water situation. Oh, imagine a life in the city where you don't have water, running water, and you don't have electricity. And then there will be some things like just commotion when it comes to public transport. And then there's where I grew up, Ngakulele Malukishin, I stay, or our house is in the high density suburbs. So the environment can be very I remember this other time I was coming from town and I was using public transport and I was just looking outside along the roadside, and the litter, there's just a lot of rubbish litter everywhere, and I'm like, this is definitely not where I want to be forever. You know what I mean? So yeah, it takes getting used to. But now that I'm here, I mean, I'm used to it. I still don't fancy it, but like, it doesn't bother you as much. But I do think that having had an experience of living outside Zimbabwe, there are some things now that happen in Zimbabwe, that I see in Zimbabwe, that I'm like, this is not it, you know. So living outside did open me up to some of the things that maybe we kind of think, or we used to think were normal, that are not really normal. Okay, so yeah, those were the major challenges for me, because it was the water, the electricity situation, like general living conditions. Let me just say that, and I should also mention that my condition is in a state yoguti I'm coming back home, to a home where there are people who live there, and where there is my parents, of course. And so I didn't have to think about where will I live, where will I sleep, what will I eat, what will that's the the nicer thing about it, so I had somewhere to learn, people to help me stand up and all of that. So now it's 6 months in, and I moved out of home. If you follow my channel, you know that I now live by myself most of the time, because sometimes I go back home, because why not? Most of the time. And so now I'm now able to take care of myself, which is such a blessing, and it's a great thing. And now the experience is different. So as someone who's working in Zimbabwe, what I feel about the condition is that, or the situation of living here, is that I really, really, really do think that there's opportunity here. There's opportunity to make it in business, to prosper, because a lot of things are not going, I don't let me just say, the conventional way, or the way things are done in maybe other countries, in countries overseas, countries like China, and so forth and so on. So because the way of life here, the economy here is different, it opens up opportunities for other things. So let me just say that I firmly believe that if someone if someone was willing to make it in them, they really can. And it's something that I'm working on doing, making it in them. Now, considering all that I've said, and the experience, all that I've said about being here so far, I still do want to continue living here. Like I said, there are challenges, things are different. You have to think about the ease of making things happen. There's what can I say? There's the challenge, Yoguti. You have to kind of hustle to get things done for you. Like for instance, if you go to other countries, you can just go to town, get into a mall, and you can find everything that you want in one place. Not here. Lapa, you have to go here, there, and there, and source out things. So there's that need to adapt. And I think for me, luckily, I think I'm someone who adapts pretty well to new environments. Yeah, I try my best, really, and I tend to look for the good things that are happening around, rather than the bad things. So I'm more of an optimistic person, you know what I mean? So looking back at my decision to come back here, I really do not regret it. And sometimes I know that there are people out there who just keep wondering, Guti, should I go back? Should I not go back? I really do think that if someone were to ask me if I recommend coming back or not coming back, I would say consider your own situation, consider your responsibilities, consider your non-responsibilities, if there's a word like that, and think about what you want for your future. I know people who probably are living outside Zimbabwe, and people are living outside Zimbabwe and living for the sake of just living. You're living there because you don't want to be part of the people who are surviving Zimbabwe. You want to be part of those who are outside there, who are supposedly thriving. But I really do not see a point of continuing to live in an environment that is not suitable for you. I firmly believe that each and every one of us has a certain place where we can blossom and prosper and do well. For some it is Zimbabwe, for some it is not in Zimbabwe. So if you're out there and considering coming back, take your time, think deeply about the decision that you are going to make, think deeply about where you want to go, think deeply about your goals, and do not sacrifice your well-being for just things that will not last and things that will not matter in the long run. So yeah, I think this is all that I have to say. Maybe my video is not so well detailed about life in Zimbabwe as such, but I can only just speak on my behalf or on my own experience, and thank you for watching. More videos will be coming, vlogs, let me say, and do subscribe and do stay tuned and have yourself a good life. Remember to find peace and be joyful and to share love, because the world needs more of that. Okay, I'm there on Instagram. It's Miss_Boyi_N, and it's Boyisile_N on TikTok, and it's Boyisile.N here on YouTube. Until next time, remember to spread joy, find peace, and be joyful always. Spread love, find peace, and be joyful always. Yeah, bye. Oh yeah, and by the way, in case you might think that this video was not well coordinated, let me just say that I have been freestyling from the start to the end of this video. I did not have any notes. I just thought, let me just go for it. Okay. Bye.